Yep, finally about time we tackle this game. And I only beat it like what, not 3 years, well, 4 days. I almost said year for some reason. That's weird. Oh boy, it's not that long. Well, yes. Hello everyone, this is Foxcat, and welcome to the review of Pokemon Violet. And of course, kind of be honest, also kind of Scarlet in a way, but you know, I picked Violet as you see. It's still kind of the same with differences. So this created as both a true review of both games. And yeah, this is going to be a very interesting review because let's just say right now the game is under a lot of criticism. Understandable criticism, mind you. And it's in a weird spot to say the least. Now, obviously, as you guys know, I actually haven't really talked much about this game in a while, like at all. Ever since the last video I ever did about Scarlet and Violet was another theory video about the typing. And by the way, I will say this, expect more Pokemon theory videos because this game is chock full of them, including one I just figure I might tackle because it's actually very interesting, although I don't think it really is something. But, of course, going a little bit with that, there's a lot to talk about with this game. Like, a lot. Like, you heard of it. We all heard about it. I even have some proof as well, so I can't deny it. But, of course, to start off, we need to talk about, of course, this game and how it's portrayed even beforehand with this stuff, well, this year. So, pretty much, this has been the biggest Pokemon game for a while. This is technically, ironically, the second Pokemon game that gave released this year. The other being, of course, the previous mission. Well, not previous mission, but pretty much the previous game, Pokemon Legends Arceus, which actually has been a while. It doesn't feel like that, you know? And this game is very much a very intriguing game, to say the least. And I use those words nicely because, to be honest, on one hand, I love this game, obviously, and not just because of the whole Pokemon thing. It really is probably one of, like, shockingly enough, this might be my new favorite generation since the previous generation. And even above that. Now, it's not going to replace my favorite generation, which is Generation 6 Pokemon X and Y. But I'll tell you one thing, if you think I'm crazy, I wouldn't blame you if you thought I was crazy with that saying that. Because yeah, this game is awesome. It definitely does beat out X and Y in terms of a lot of things. Except for one, which we'll get into way in a bit. So, let's talk about this. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it was announced literally earlier this year, and admittedly the hype was kind of lowered until the leak came in, and we know that. But even then, it was acceptable as best. In fact, as you guys probably may have guessed, I was kind of nervous with Scarlet and Violet, to be honest. I didn't really know how to feel about it. I was okay with it. I'm glad I kept my expectations low, though, because it actually blew me out of the water, like, a lot. Like, it really is better than Pokemon Sword and Shield in most cases, like I said. We'll get into that in a bit. And it was really good. Now, for those who are still catching up to the plate of what Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is, especially if you're like my brother, no joke, literally go ask him yourself. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is the recent new Pokemon games that take place as stated in Gen 9. It takes place in a new region called the Palin region. Don't hold me to it. I don't think I got the name correctly, but it is Pala, all that other stuff. Palin, which is based off of Spain, which I'll just tell you right up front, it really does look good with that stuff. It's the story, well, it's kind of interesting to say the least, but it is a great story and stuff, like really very great. So I'll go ahead and go through the positives first before talking about the big negative. And of course some nitpicks here and there. So the first thing I want to talk about is the new Pokemon. New Pokemon is fine, actually. My whole team is literally made out of the new Pokemon, and surprisingly, all of them are actually pretty good. Like literally the new ones. Like literally, even the starter evolution. Even though I chose the cat one, which was actually a pretty good choice, like the other starter evolutions, they're actually pretty great too as well. Like literally, there's a lot of good stuff in there. However, I do have some nitpicks here and there about the new Pokemon. First one is the fact that for some reason they tried to now separate the original forms with a brand new spin on Pokemon. Like, I'm not going to go into too much spoiled details, but there's at least kind of free new typing of Pokemon. First one is Pokemon that are literally a part of the same species, like the Wiglet stuff, but they're not really like a Diglett. It's just a new species that's somehow formed. And the two others that I definitely won't go into true detail because that would be a huge spoiler and stuff is the Paradox Pokemon. I'll just say this. Paradox Pokemon, they get passed because that is fine as fuck, I'll tell you. Especially the Violet one. I'm glad I chose Violet because, wow. Really cool and stuff. But the new, not regional, but you know it kind of is in fuck off forms like Wiglet and another one, which I won't spoil it. I don't know. I feel like this is just Nintendo and freaking Game Freak confirming they're running out of ideas of Pokemon. And it kind of is felt with this new batch of Pokemon. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the details of this generation. Like, every single Pokemon is awesome, in my opinion. I think they're really great. I know there's a lot of people who are going to love a bunch of other. I mean, flip, they were able to make a freaking motor Pokemon. A flippin' motor Pokemon. I'm not saying like Rotom here. I'm talking about a freaking poison and steel type of an engine. You can't make this shit up, and it's pretty good. And actually, literally, it definitely is a big improvement to, like, I would still say this. I say that Pokemon Sword and Shield's Pokemon were fine as well, but it's definitely a big improvement from there. Especially also between, like, it's really, like, the Gen 9 Pokemon are awesome designs. Through and through. With some exclusions, but still, really, I think everyone's going to love it. It's fine. Especially, like, the new ones. Like, I mean, everyone's talking about TikTok. Like, that pink fairy hammer one that I do also have. Like, at this point, everyone's going to have that pink fairy hammer one for sure. Tink Tonk, I think that's how it goes. You know what I'm referring to. And, you know, pretty good. Also, the new legendaries are great, especially the Quintet, I think that's how you say it, or Quantent. The new 4 legendaries, not the box cover legendaries, but they are awesome as well. In fact, they actually have a great story with them. The new Quintet legendaries are also hilariously awesome, including their new song that goes with it. It's very awesome. Like, really, these new Pokemon surprised me a lot because I never expected to really truly love these designs. Now, there are some baffling exclusions, which I'm not going to lie, but really, most of them are pretty good. Of course, I will say, though, although it is forgiven in some regards, it doesn't really feel more Spain-like with those Pokemon designs, though. With a few sections being the starter Pokemon, and something like on the lines of a pepper Pokemon they do have now, which, yes, they do have a fire and grass type pepper Pokemon. You should be thanking them. But honestly, I'll give it a pass for multiple reasons. The biggest being that I think they already have older Pokemon that help fit the bill, which they do, and it's really great. So, really, honestly, the Pokemon is not a problem. Also, that's not a problem, and kind of also what makes this big problem the game does have a super downer is the story. Holy mother of crap, I am going to try my hardest not to spoil this story at all. Not because really it's way early to spoil it, because trust me, I know a lot of people don't want to be spoiler, but they are doing a good job of keeping away from spoilers, because holy crap, the story is awesome. Like, literally, they really did upgrade from possibly even Legends Arceus, to say the least. Not like I'm saying Legends Arceus story sucked, because it actually was great as well, but this is definitely a big improvement since Sword and Shield, because we all know, and even I will admit, despite me loving those games, The story in there, including the DLC, sucked. This is a different story on many regards. Like, literally. And you may have noticed that I possibly said stories. This is because, even though it's just one big story in general, pretty much this game is an open world kind of thing, with 3 stories to start with, and the 4th one just being a smash two all together in the final chapter of all this. And I'll get in a little bit details later about it, but really, I don't want to spoil anything of the story. I'll spoil a little bit of the story, but man, there's a lot of big holy grail plot twists in the 3 major ones we deal with. And it's real, like, especially like Team Star. I know a lot of people complain about Team Star being a little bit downgrade. Like, it's definitely even a little bit more downgrade than Team Yell, but was upgrade from Team Yell and Team Skull was the backside story of Team Star, which actually tackles a very heavy topic of bullying. Bullying. I hope I'm saying that right. Hold on. Alright, sorry, I had to get water in my mouth. I hope I'm saying it right. Bullying. But really, it is a great backstory of Team Star. It actually was one that really shocked me, to say the least. But really, and the other ones are great too. Like, literally, especially the new friend rivals you do get. They're awesome. I love their backstories, and like I said, I'll definitely won't spoil the 4th and final ending of the story, because holy crap, that is huge. Like, literally, it's that good that I won't even go into details of it. And it's really, really good story. I'll say the least. Like, I know people were worried about, like, how Team Star will be. Trust me. Literally trust me on not just the Team Star story, but the other stories as well. They're awesome. Really awesome. I really recommend, if you do want to play this game, do read out the stuff, because it is a big, like, really, it's really hard hitting, which is kind of good, because believe it or not, as stated, and I'll definitely admit it, because I will admit it, friggin' Sword and Shield story kind of sucked. Like, literally, I cannot deny that at all. Like, I was okay with it, but we all know good and well that even I will admit that the story sucked. Like, they had potential in Sword and Shield, but they kind of flopped it. But here in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, holy mother of crap, it is great. Like, literally, like, there's even, like, really, I can't spoil this thing. That's how great it is. Of course, the other thing we need to talk about is how the gameplay works. And there's a bunch of stuff that I won't be able to tackle in just one video here, but I'll try to go over some of the major basics that are important to go over about it. First off and foremost, it is open world. It's definitely open world like Legends Arceus, except also not. I'm not going to say it's like fully Legends Arceus, but it is definitely fully world open. Except for one major problem, which I may have noticed. Now, obviously, I could be wrong with this, and trust me, if I am, then forgive me, because I actually had to, because I will admit I even used a map of a certain YouTuber in order to point this out. I'm not going to say who it is, but actually his map actually worked. In fact, I might actually borrow his map on my own time and actually post it if you guys want to see it. But yeah, good thing he gave me and a bunch of other people on that video that map, because the leveling in Pokemon Scarlet Violet, like, I can't be 100% sure because I just went through that map, so I don't know. But the leveling is kind of, I guess, not balanced. I don't know. Like, it probably is, but it will kind of get tougher as you go throughout. I mean, trust me. Like I said, I won't spoil anything, but one of the final bosses of Team frickin' Star, holy mother of crap. Let's just say, it felt like I was literally just trying to go for a lottery. That's how bad that battle was, to say the least. Only one battle. It wasn't that bad, completely bad, but yee. So yeah. And again, it's not a big deal. In fact, I think it is kind of balanced in the Pokemon world. It's just they definitely need to try to work on more of that accuracy of the balancing of how they do the open world. Even though I don't think that's what they really do work on with that open world stuff. But other than that, it's fine. Actually, really gorgeous. And I love how they progress. Like, literally every story is needed to progress the through. Like, you need to gym badges to level up your Pokemon. You need to go through the story I haven't gotten into, which is the Titan Pokemon, to get the upgrades for your legendary, because you do get it early on, and basically it's your upgraded bike. Like, it does play like Legend of Zelda. You have to upgrade your bike throughout. And the Team Star, I don't think they really give you nothing, but it does progress another story that is important and needed. So, really, my advice, if you are going to play this, do it in a balanced order. You don't have to follow the same map I did, but do it in a balanced order. It actually is more fun if you do it, because it really helps and make it full blast. But on the flip side, hey, you can do whatever you want. If you want to go F yourself with the Ice-type gym, that's fine by anyone, because really it is open world. You can literally go up to the hardest gym and try to face it off first. That is cool. Like, it literally is cool and fun. It really is great. It definitely captures the open world. It's just, I hope I am wrong with the leveling thing, because again, I follow a map instead of actually going over. But what it's worth, I think it's fine. And I love how the Pokemon are somewhat level based on where it is. Kind of, but still is pretty good. Also, the trainer battles. Luckily, you can choose them whenever you want to go over it or not, which is actually helpful so you don't over level your Pokemon, which actually did help me in a pinch somewhat, but still, I still recommend you do try to battle some trainers and then skip a few so you don't over level but still get some level up for the gym battles and other battles as well. Trust me, like I said, not the final, but one of the final Team Star bosses was tough, and one of the biggest problems was I was under level as fuck, and I had to really level up. Which leads into another thing I do need to say that is great, but I feel like people will skip this, so I have to make it clear. Do also the school thing. I know it's a little bit weird, and you can just use a keep guide, and for those who do not know what I'm saying, in the school, you have to do academic classes. If it's not really important to the story, but if you do, you get good like XP candies for it, and also it's really helpful too. Like, I feel like those classes, they really did a good job of making them feel like classes you're taking, and it's so fun. But it also does help you if you want more tips and tricks on Pokemon. It's definitely a worthwhile. You can skip them, but if you're in need of more XP, go to them and do it, and it'll also help you a lot for trying to understand stuff. The picnics. There is a new form of the Pokemon MA, which is the final. This region's version of May or Pokemon Camp or whatever we'll call it, Pokemon Refresh, is Pokemon Camping. No, Picnic or just Picnic. To be honest, it's fine. Actually, it's fun. But to be fair, the sandwiches, I don't see any value with them, to be honest. Now, I could be wrong, and I know I possibly am, because they do give you some extra stuff. I just don't know how it works, to be honest. So don't take my thing as a great talk. It's still great. Is kind of an upgrade from Pokemon Camp. Still kind of some downgrades, though. I mean, you can only wash your Pokemon and feed them sandwiches and throw a ball. That's pretty much it. Of course, I haven't really upgraded the camp or even used it. But if you want to slow down, it works. And it just works the same like the previous evolutions beforehand. If you do it, you get more status buffs. They'll actually try to do some tricks in there, like have one more stage of health if they get hit very fast. Hold on to dear life kind of thing. I don't know, do more critical hits very well. Pretty much standard. So, pretty much so far, yes, the game is great. What about the downsides? Well, the first downside, and this is debatable, to be honest. Because it's really not that bad, and it's probably also a positive, but the new mechanic is kind of a, That's actually one of my first complaints of the game. For those who don't know, we have a new mechanic called Terrazism, or I'm going to call it just crystallizing to make it easier. I'm even saying it wrong, I know that for a fact, but Terra, whatever the fuck, and it's very much crystallizing. On one hand, it's good. It does have some good strategies for it. For those who don't know, when you crystallize your Pokemon, it will gain one new typing. And not just like, oh, have one is same typing but without the other typing in it. No, you can actually change it into another type. For example, that is kind of a little bit spoiler to a certain gym leader, but she has a ghost type Pokemon and she turned it into electric type. Yes, and at one hand, it does work as strategies. I actually can't wait to see how the real Pokemon masters, aka the people who EV training, sucking the fun out, does it with the Pokemon conversations. Yes, I did make that dorky joke. You deal with it because that's how I feel with that type of crap. But really, it's awesome to watch. But I feel like it really is a downgrade from even Z crystals. The reason why is there is also some exploits with it because like I said, if a person changed a ghost type to electric type, all you have to do is throw mud at it. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that is the case for all of it. I do believe has some value if mastered because you can actually surprise your opponent not just with one Pokemon but the rest of your Pokemon by changing their typing. But it is still kind of feeling like a downgrade. But the good news is it actually looks great. I love the crowns on their heads. It looks beautiful. Really, it's pretty good how they like arts it up. Like it doesn't have any form change like Dynamax or Gigamaxing or Mega Evolvings, but still pretty good looking to be honest. But even then, as you might guess, that's not the biggest problem in this game, which finally gets us to pretty much a problem that even I'm going to show you. Really, right now. Yeah, that problem. Okay, so to clarify for those who are still confused, yeah, that was game is actually very effing glitchy as fuck. Yeah. Okay, so I can't even deny that. Like literally, even though to my opinion, and this is coming from a guy who admittedly may not be the best idea to talk about this because I'm not very much care about graphical improvements. Be honest, it's not that bad. But it is kind of important we do tackle that because even I would be stupid and not talk about this. Yes, I will agree. There is some bugs and very bad glitches. Some which, at the time of recording, I think was patched out. But even beforehand, even when those leaks of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was coming out, people were already telling us beforehand about how bad the game is. And yeah, there's a lot of very bad. Like, if you thought that was bad, trust me, that was just the tip of the iceberg of stuff. Like, stuff that I can't even show, but you probably will see, like, a lot in different reviews and stuff. Like, yeah, the people in there will kind of walk like there until you get close, and then it will smooth out and actually smooth up the animation. In certain places of Pokemon, you will be invisible, as you just saw there. You might turn invisible. Your Pokemon somehow turn invisible. That was just today of that gameplay, by the way. That was just today of the gameplay, which is even weirder because I thought that it will change to showing the Pokemon actually do that whole play rough thing. Nope, it didn't. But hey, it worked out because I had to show that. And yeah, there's a lot of things about it. However, I do want to stress this out because I even see people talk about this. Okay, look, it's not that bad to the point of you asking a fucking refund, okay? I mean, it's your choice. I'm not saying you can't, because honestly, if that's so bad for you, then I question humanity. Because admittedly, I know, and before you start, I do know there are worse glitches. There is a glitch out there that I haven't encountered yet that will delete your save file. What I heard, or at least I'm probably butchering that crap a lot, but I heard it's that bad. Like some memory leak or some stuff. But yeah, I can't deny it's a little bit bad, but it's runnable at best. Like, I don't know. And I will double down on this by saying that the hardware I'm using, it, as you guys could probably guess, is my new Switch OLED, which is the higher and most up-to-date Switch there is. I haven't played the game on Switch Lite, and I don't know if I am going to do so because, I don't know, like my Switch Lite is already packed full with other games, so I may not be able to test it. But I do know if that is also the case for you guys, then I'm not surprised since the Switch Lite is probably the smallest out of the three. And to be honest, I really don't know what to say. Like, I will say this. I hear people saying that it's related to that one WWE wrestling, and the biggest one comparison, which is also the most weirdest one, in my opinion, and I'll get to the reason why I say that in a bit, being Cyberpunk 99. Look, and also I'm surprised no one said Grand Theft Auto Remake, because I feel like that should be also in the mix as well. Grand Theft Auto Remake thing, you know what I'm talking about. But the game is not that bad as those. And there's multiple reasons why. One, admittedly, and I actually even watched a video kind of confirming this, admittedly, Game Freak and Nintendo did not hide this at all. Like, those games, they hide it on purpose. This game did not. They did not, like, there's old trailers that showcase this graphical blah, to be honest, and people already pointed that out beforehand. Like, in the very first trailer, people already pointed out that thing. So, yeah, it's not literally like they were hiding this in the first place. So, and more importantly, it's not as bad as that. Like, really, it looks like it's tough enough to break. Well, excuse me, that was a wrong way to say it. It's tough enough not to break. I forgot the not part. But really, it's not that bad. Like, seriously, I went through without even having bugs. Now, to be honest, that's because, obviously, I got the first day patch, unlike most of the other guys who got the freak out before that one day patch. But still, I mean, it's not that bad, to be completely honest. I mean, to be fair, if you guys think that bad, that's totally up to you. I'm not going to deny that at all. But describing it as, that stuff, I don't know. It's really, like, to my opinion, if you want a refund, that's fine. I don't know what to say, to be honest. I deeply do not know what to say about it. My personal opinion may not work, because honestly, as you guys can probably tell, I'm one of those few who definitely look through it, especially if it's not that bad. I'll definitely look through it and still say it's a great game. In fact, a lot of people has talked about it like that. But of course, I cannot deny it at all. There are some few glitches in this thing, like very bad ones. And to be honest, I don't know what happened with that. Like, to be fair, I don't know. Like, a lot of people saying it's because they rushed this out. I don't know about that because I heard before that they worked on this game during the time of the DLC of Pokemon Sword and Shield. I will say, though, that I also heard that this game is actually running on, Unreal Engine. I think that was what they said, Unreal Engine. Which is kind of bad, to say the least, because I never expect a AAA game be run on for Unreal Engine. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, I can't deny it, but I don't know if I have any right to say it. That's the point. And I won't deny it. But as you can probably tell, to be honest, this game still, to me, especially since the bugs aren't that bad, I'll give it at least A minus. I'll give it an A. Like a really gold A. Because, to be honest, it's not up to S tier, it's not up to platinum or anything. But hey, I'll just say this. this has got to be one of the best Pokemon games they ever released in years, let's be honest, because really the problems with Pokemon X and Y, some problems with Sun and Moon, especially when they try to fuck it up with Volcar Sun and Ultra Moon, because that really fucked up that story. Especially the problems with Sword and Shield. Definitely a major insane problems with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. And mad problems with Legends Arceus. This game actually is probably the best. Like, I haven't talked about a lot of the other things that make this game great, like what they did with TMs, although I will argue it's surprising how they went back to that, but hey, it's fair how they managed that, to be honest. But still, this is one of the best games, and I highly, highly recommend if you guys want to get back into Pokemon, because I know, Pokemon has been dropping a lot. This is probably the best way to get into it. Again, I cannot really say too much about it, but it is pretty much the best game ever, to be honest. Recently, definitely replaces Sword and Shield. It's probably going to be my second favorite Pokemon game. I cannot deny I will never... No, they will never top Pokemon X and Y. But in reality, though, discounting me, it does top Pokemon X and Y, and probably one of the best Pokemon games ever, really. So, literally, I do highly recommend it for its story, for its beautiful design. It's somewhat at least passable gameplay, which does need to be fixed, because that is one of the biggest issues that we cannot deny. Really, for everything, it's passable. It's really best. I recommend it. This is the best way to get into it. Really. And I do hope that Nintendo does learn about this whole... Nintendo and Game Freak learn about this whole glitch thing and fix it up. And hopefully they don't do it next time, because really, that glitch does hurt the story. And we'll just have to see later on. We can't... It's literally just a present right now, so we'll just have to see what is up. So anyways... This has been Flockscat, snapping out of here. Hope you all have a good Thanksgiving. Bye-bye. Snapping out of here.